Hello again, this is Dave Carr from Visionary Software, back with another installment on how to use our CRM Rules product. Today we're going to look at how you can change your existing system using CRM out-of-the-box configuration capabilities, for example, to add a new field to a case form, and then how you can refresh our CRM Rules metadata to be able to use that new field in a new rule. So currently I've got a targeted, this is my case system that we're using to track our bugs in CRM Rules. Not many, but we do have to track them. And right here we have this targeted product release that is our next version. What I want to do also is have a fixed in release field that's going to have the same values here, but I want to make sure we track that as well. And I also want to add a status because we basically say once it's fixed into QA, we're good. I want to add released as a new status value here. So I'm going to go into CRM typical customization entity form and add a new field and a new option to my status field, and then we'll show you how you get that into CRM Rules so you can write rules. I'm going to also write a rule there that says when that status is closed, I have to have that required, that fixed inversion field required. So I'm just going to go ahead and edit the main form for the case. Easiest way, I usually work through the form to get to the field details. So first I want to add a new option to status. So I just add a new one, the status of fixed and released. Alright, so there's my fixed and released new value that we've added. We'll save and close that. So I'll just add a new field called released in fixed inversion. Fixed inversion. Make that an option set, and I want to have CRM Rules 3.1, and currently we're planning on CRM Rules 3.2. So add those two versions, which I of course can add later. Just wanted to show you the process here. Save and close that. So we have our new field with two new options and a new option in the status option set. So the first step, of course, is to put them on the form and publish your CRM changes as you always would. So now that's part of your production metadata that we can go take a look at and bring into our system. So I'll just open up my case record here in the entities, CRM Rules entities table. We have the case entity, and that's the one we want to bring the new metadata in for. And I just have to click this Create Update Entity Data button here to do so. It will give you a message saying CRM Rules information being created. Check the deployment history, which is what I'll do. Right above the entities here, we'll see one new line here initially. There we go, Create Entity Case. So that is the job that runs. And as you see, that one spawns one that brings in all the fields, brings in all the forms, and once those are done, it'll bring in tabs and sections. So you just have to refresh this a couple of times. You'll see, again, creating an entity case. So we've got the forms and fields all done. We've done tabs and sections. We've done the option sets. We've even done the lookups. So any lookup with less than 50 values in the case form is now available for rules. And the final thing we're doing is creating conditions based on those. So for each option set, so for that new value I placed in that status field, I'm going to have a condition built out by that process. So conditions is the last piece of it. You can see our 7-step process here is complete. And we're now ready to use those new fields, or any fields now in the case system, in our rule deployment process. So I said I wanted to create one new rule to just show that basically when that status is fixed and released, I have to require that released inversion field. So I'll just create a new case rule to do that. So I'll give it a name here. Require fixed inversion field when bug fixed. I'll shorten that function name just a little bit there. This entity is the case entity, And we'll just do a simple if then else rule. Alrighty, I'm going to save that so I can add my many conditions and actions to this rule if I need to. I have one condition, and again, that's going to be pre-built for me because our process that updates our metadata should have a condition now that says when status equals fixed and released. So we're going to go ahead and add a condition. Now, even though the condition is generated, of course, we have to add it to this rule to basically link that condition to this rule. And so I'm going to go ahead and search for a condition. And I'm going to look for status and version. Status and release. Status equals fixed and released. Perfect. That's the one I want. Don't need anything else. And now my action is going to be to set that field to required, to set the new field to be required. So now I'm going to have to build a new action here to set that new field to be required. Go ahead and hit new. All right, so I'm going to pick a required field action type. Just type in REQ there. Required fields. It's the case entity. And I've got something called version, some kind of a version field there. Fixed and version. All right, and I'm going to set that to be required. Set required field, fixed and version, good to go. Now, of course, I always want to do the opposite, so that this field's only required under that situation. So I'm going to also do an else action to set it back to not be required otherwise. So that when you change that status value, you can save the record without having to fill in this field. So just say set not required fixed and version. So I'm going to do a new one. Required fields. On the case. Field name is something to do with version. And I'm going to set the required type to none. Set not required fixed and version. Save and close that. So I now have my rule built out with my if condition and my then action and my else action. As we can see here. The final thing to do, of course, is to indicate when this should run. So I want to run this on a status field change. I'll also run it on load in case that status value currently is fixed in version. We still want is fixed and released. We still want that field to be required. And now I can go ahead and hit validate to create my code and generate my event handlers and prepare to move this into production. As you can see, just have to click one button to refresh your metadata and be able to create a new rule using that new field. So it validated correctly. I'll now mark it ready for deployment. Then we'll just deploy this rule case and go test it out. All right, this rule is now ready to deploy. Just have to hit deploy and get that informational message. Check deployment history for status. I'll go over and make sure that's still working good here. Let me know when it's ready to go ahead and do my test. Okay, so I've opened up a case. Now that I've published my rule, I've opened up a case that actually has been finished. I wanted to specify it was finished. So I'm going ahead and change this to fixed to released. Now notice the fixed in version has no required mark here yet. When I do this, it does. So that shows you that our rule, and of course I can go back and change it, and it goes away. That's the else clause working. So that rule is working just dandy. And we're ready to finish this rule off and add another enhancement to our product. Hope you enjoyed that brief tutorial on how you can update your metadata in CRM, publish those changes, and then just run a quick setup in CRM Rules so you can use all of those new fields and values in your new rules. If you need any more information, please check out our website, crm-rules.com, or see our other YouTube videos, or drop me an email, davidlcarr@live.com. Thanks for your attention. Hope you have a great day.